So ever since I was little, I always struggled with the concept of love. I heard it be thrown around everywhere, especially in the United States. People like to just use it for for anything and everything. Almost, it seems like. Um, I love food. I love that. I love you. Movies really romanticize the concept of love, and so it really painted this picture of it being an emotional matter. But through time, through my contemplations, I recognize that it is not an emotional matter at all. If anything, it is transcendent, but also primordial. It is before all emotions, and it is also beyond all emotions. So we could say that love is both the alpha and the omega, and so I'm going to go into that, my lessons around love in this video. So hopefully this can serve you, because it is very important that we think about the words that we use in our vocabulary, because they hold power both within ourselves and without ourselves. They hold power in the way that we construct our reality and we form our perceptions. And they also hold power in the way that we think about ourselves and our relationship to the universe in general, and our relationship to others in general. Our vocabulary serves as the bridge between ourselves and the outside world, and it really holds a lot of weight in terms of how we're going to be interacting with others, and how we're going to in generally just feel, I guess we could say, be fulfilled. So continuing on my story, ever since I was little, I always wanted to not use the word love. I was very hesitant always. Um, I would say I like things, and I also knew very much that did not want to use the word hate. Hate, in fact, has not been used in my vocabulary in maybe a few years now. I believe, or at least, when was the last time I intentionally used the word hate to describe something? Um, I think that is an accomplishment within itself. But wouldn't use the word love, especially I remember around my college years, or around the later end of high school. I wouldn't really say I love you to anybody, and I would hardly almost, and I would kind of not be triggered, but more so, it would raise an eyebrow whenever I heard somebody use that word. So I made it a point for myself to understand what this word meant, because out here in the world, I see people throwing it around, and I understand and I know that they don't know what it means, at least to the depth of that. To what depth does the word love go? How far can it take us, and what does it truly mean? Because the context in which I heard the word being used, I believe we're just too limited in the sense that why does it have to be such an emotional matter? Why does it have to be just pertaining to romanticism? And why is it that we also find it so easy to use that word, to word that word, to use that word to describe so many different things? And so that was a problem, a question that I had to figure out on my own, and I did. And so around those times, I made it a point to contemplate the word love, and I dove into spiritual understanding to really get to understand what this word meant to me. And I also experimented, just through contemplation, meditation, constantly asking myself, what is love? What is this thing that can be, um, so powerful, but also so elusive to people? And I went through had various experiences, some of them being real tangible experiences, almost like realizations or enlightened moments. Some might have been during a psychedelic trip, others might have been just in real time, going through my day to day. Others might have been through studying and hearing somebody comment on the word itself. And I found that love is not an emotional matter. And we need to, if anything, stray away from seeing it that way. Because if we do, then we lose out on so many things, so much power, and also so much understanding about the way this universe works, and also about the way that this universe was constructed, and how it's been built, and how it grows. I understand that love itself is something more akin. Love in its pure form and its purest essence is something more akin to truth and knowing. So those two things, when I really think about love, my mind directly goes to those things, knowing and truth. And what are these things that um, they point to? They point to reality. What is real? Being true to oneself means being real with oneself, means being real to others. And knowing means having clarity and having a stable foundation within one's thoughts and being. So, to have a clear stability while also being real, truthful, one can only act in a loving manner. And when we question what is the meaning of reality, or what is the foundation of reality, I understand now that love is the foundation. That at the core of everything, love is at the core of everything. Love is the source of this reality. And so, how would I describe love to people? I would describe it as an acknowledgement of another person's being, but also of an acknowledgement of the universe itself, of the whole being. Understanding that beyond everything, beyond everything, there is always love, and there it feels more so. How does this feel like? It feels more so like clarity. It feels more so like stability. It feels more like truth. It feels more like understanding. It feels more like connection. It feels more like peace. Peace is another word. And so at the higher frequencies, we can see that I believe that these feelings that I described are feelings that can be found at higher frequencies. And so for people who believe love to be more so a romantic matter, this might lead to for them to question what exactly is it that I'm doing. Because if you love an individual, then but you can't let them go, but you have a sort of attachment to them, but you have a sort of desire to control, then that is not true love, um, because it is an emotional matter at that point. Like love has brought more peace and joy to my life than any other thing. And so if you are suffering, then you must not be seeing love at its core. Even me, in moments that I have suffered, I have understood that I cannot hate the ones who I cannot hate in moments of crises. I cannot hate the individual. Even for example, like I think I could, like when I had my breakup, I remember telling myself this situation can only open myself up more. How can I make it so that even though right now my ego feels like I've been hurt, even though right now it feels like I've been done wrong, I know that that is not true, and I know that what if I could move as if nothing was done onto me, as if I was never hurt, as if there is no issue. And I questioned myself, because in that moment I really felt like I had lost a lot of things, and I did lose a lot of things. I lost a lot of we could say material possessions. I also lost a lot of just clarity. I lost sight of where am I going to go. I lost a lot of stability, so many things that were lost, and it was a big moment of crises for sure. But I understood in my mind how I said to myself, this is the only way, and I can only move forward if I act as if nothing has been done to me, no wrong has been done to me. And and so I questioned that, and I knew that that came from a place of love. That was the only way to do it, to let go of the person, to let go of the situation, and to understand that there was a truth that was underlying all of this, and that there was still love. There was still love even when there was no, um, even when the what appeared to be happening did not reflect love. And so this goes when I was writing this video, the idea for this video, I thought about this quote by A Course in Miracles. Now I couldn't find a specific quote. The specific quote that I was thinking about was something along the lines of, um, all that is real, um, is only love. You know, everything is a lie, everything is a hallucination except for love. That is the one thing that is real. And when I heard that quote, the reason why it was so impactful was because I was almost entering a place of, I guess, delusion, or a very scary place where I was realizing that nothing was real. Nothing here exists. Nothing here is exists, and nothing here is real. Um, because when you get to a point in spiritual understanding, you understand that so many things are just projections, illusions, um, contracts that have been made, built on no foundation. And especially in my psychedelic trips, I understood that there's so many things that I don't know, and especially in my esoteric training, um, you don't want to pay too much attention to the real world, to the real world, to the world that is known, the world of the senses, for example. The only way you're able to understand what's going on is because your senses are operating correctly. But if your senses were not operating the way they were, you'll be open to a whole nother world, and I understand that very well. You know, we are almost like, there's like a veil between our reality and a completely different reality, and so your mind can somehow in one moment just completely switch over to the other side, and you will not be able to function in this world. So I understood that we are very much tiptoeing on this line of insanity. Really, we are so close to insanity. Understood that. Like, insanity is so close. It's like right here, and insanity is almost like my friend, because I understand um, that I've only been able to get to the place that I'm at because I've been constantly working on myself and constantly aware of wanting to have the best thoughts, the best approach, the best interpretations of my reality. That's the only reason why I am where I'm at. But I understood that any second I could just have gotten in a car crash, or I could have just tripped, and or something could have happened, and I would live in a completely different world. So that feeling within itself, that understanding, that knowing, it leads me to understand that there's a lot of things like this. All is, we're walking a very fine line, and so we are so close to insanity, and that also made me feel like, like, what is actually real, what can I actually grab a hold on, and can I say, and will take me through all things. And especially when you're going through psychedelic trips, you need to have a grasp of something, because you will be taken through so many different worlds, so many different realities, that if you don't grab onto something and you understand that that thing is the real thing, you could lose your mind. At least that's how I felt like. That's been my experience. So I was questioning this, like, what is real? What can I really believe in? And then I heard that quote, which is, um, that there's only one thing that is real, and that is love. And here's another similar quote. It says, "Nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists." And so, based on that foundation, I was looking into A Course in Miracles even more. And so the concept is that only love is real, and everything that is not love is really just a hallucination. And that's a very interesting thing, because when you get visions, when you experience awakenings, etc., or just really, like, crises, um when you're encountered with crises, with life crises, how do you find stability, and how can you get through, and progress and grow? That was a real question. And and I understood that I understand that. So, A Course in Miracles says that basically everything is a hallucination. Um, Fear, hate, greed, etc. Anything that is not love is just a hallucination, which is a very interesting concept, because if you can do that, then if you can understand that, then and you jump straight to love, if love becomes your stabilizing core, then you will be able to get through any crises, because it is through love with which you will come get through it. So if you have no idea what you're doing, you're faced with so much pressure, the only thing you can rely on is love. And so, like it says, nothing real can be threatened. And so when you enter a state of love, you cannot be threatened. And so this is also something that I've learned through interacting with negative beings, negative entities. I've In the spiritual world, I've had awakenings where I've had to deal with entities, negative entities. And so I have understood that when you enter a state of love, they leave. So I've been, I've heard there's things in the community, in the spiritual community. There's a war supposedly going on between love and hate, or like positive entities, negative entities. And to me, like I guess that could be real, that could be a reality, but I don't really care to pay attention to it because I'm working. I'm working on what I want to work on, and I'm building something from a place of love. So only love will only attract love, and so why am I going to be worried about something that is not love? And that's another beautiful thing that I've learned is you focus on love and love will grow, and so you will bring more loving relationships, more loving connections, more loving reality. And so if you understand that love is the only thing that is real and that it cannot be threatened, then you will make sure to always embody that when you are struggling. And there will be a lesson that love will teach you. Love will be your guide. Love will be your teacher. And and so love will hold your hand and it will guide you to the places that you need to be. And that's a beautiful lesson that I've learned also. Um, Another lesson that I've learned that I think is important is, like I said, love is not emotional. And so what does that mean in relationships, right? In a relationship, what does it mean to be a loving individual? Well, I believe that love, like I said, truth and knowing. So are you truthful to your partner, or are you do you know your partner, or also do you know yourself, and are you truthful to yourself? And also, do you love yourself? And if you can do that, then I believe it becomes very easy to love another individual. Because when you, for example, I believe that, like when I was um going when I was wanting to interact with women, I would talk to various women, and I would basically spit my game, right? I had my game, my way of approaching them, my way of having them be attracted to me. And what I realized was that the ultimate game is really a game of love, because I realized also that um, all human beings just want to be loved, and they all are seeking it. We all are seeking that. We all are seeking a stability, a certainty. Um, but my way of showing love to people, it didn't have to be with me spitting game, or trying to appeal to a person's lower nature by trying to portray this specific individual. No, it was through embodiment of love through which I was able to create attraction. And so it was funny, but like think about it, but my game was really just me just being myself, and almost like smiling, but also it gave me the ability to see through a lot of people's bullshit. And we could say the word bullshit, but for example, if I were to look at a woman, it'd be very easy for me to look at the insecurities, maybe some triggers, maybe see like her personality right away and understand how she operates. And it was very easy for me to just almost like see it, but cut to the core, direct. Like all I know is that people want to be loved, and that if I connect to love and I embody love, that then this person will feel loved. And to that individual, they might see love as a romantic thing or as this very emotional roller coaster, which is not true, but they might see it that way. But I understand myself that me, when I walk into a room and I embody this state, that I will show people something completely different. It's like I brought something fresh, something new to the table. And so it's almost like they'd be tripped out, because it's like, where's the expectation, where's the games, where the manipulation or whatever. Well, it doesn't exist. It's not needed. It's like that's how it's another lesson that I learned, and it shaped the way that I treated people. It has shaped the way that I treat people. It has shaped the way that I treat women and other people in general. So when you bring that concept into everything that you do, for example, relationships or friendships, business, like that is really where I'm coming from. It's always from a place of love, and it's basically, like I said, synonymous to truth and knowing. So for people who have struggled with this concept, I hope that this is helpful. I could go on for hours about this in various ways that it applies. Um, but the main point is to understand that love is not an emotional matter. And I know that whenever I use love, even to my wife, like I love you, it's not an emotional matter. It's not. It's not. I'm not like my astral body that we have as human beings. We have different bodies. The astral body, we have the mental body, we have the physical body. The astral body is what predominantly dominates. Predominantly dominates your consciousness, at least the majority of individuals consciousness. So most of the time that's why people get triggered so easily, or that's why people are so emotional, or people are so reactive, because their astral body is very much dominant. But the moment that you start to embody this understanding of love, it creates a separation between the astral body and the physical body and the mental body, and so it allows to have some space between the mental, astral, and physical bodies, which allows for a much more flexible and fluent and fluid individual who is able to express himself at a very high level. So, um, so embodying this concept of love allows you to then not be reactive, not be so emotional, not be so I guess scared or triggered, etc. And it allows you to move forward with clarity and truth and just strength. Really, strength is a beautiful thing. Um, so yeah, I mean, hopefully, man, I could probably make a whole series like what is strength, what is truth, what is all these concepts that people use, or what is power. Because if we can redefine the way that first off, if we can redefine these words within themselves, that is powerful. But also, if we can just begin to embody those words in their more raised frequency, their more raised vibration, their more raised definition, if we can begin to do that, it will definitely change the way that we see the world and the way that we act onto the world. So that's really the goal. And so, what is my last tip? I guess my last tip would be whenever you're faced with crises, whenever you're faced with struggle, whenever you're in a place of instability, understand that nothing real can be threatened and nothing unreal exists. The only real thing that exists is love, and when you embody love, and when you understand love, then you can get through anything, and it will lead to a place of only more love. Love attracts love, and love brings more love. So, and then make those connections between truth and knowledge. More clarity brings more clarity. Love brings more clarity. Love brings more truth. Truth brings more love. Truth brings more clarity. Truth brings knowing. Knowing brings truth. Knowing brings love. I love to interplay with these things because they're really just doors to a whole another world, which once we can use them interchangeably and understand how they work, we can really access these higher worlds, and it'll allow us to bring our heaven down onto this earth. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it helpful. Thank you for tuning in. It's your boy Lucid. You already know.